Today's Kingdom headline: in a culture obsessed with self-care, self-promotion, self-interest, self-expression, self-preservation, and self-gratification, God is still calling men to something radically different. Not selfishness, sacrifice, not taking, giving, not demanding, serving. Today we ask a question that cuts straight to the heart of biblical masculinity. How can a Christian man become a man who chooses sacrifice over selfishness? Let's be honest, gentlemen. Selfishness comes naturally. Nobody teaches toddlers how to say mine. They arrive fully qualified. You don't have to teach children to put themselves first. You have to teach them to share. Why? Because selfishness is the default setting of fallen humanity. Sacrifice is learned, and nowhere is that more evident than in modern culture. Today's message is clear. Protect yourself. Put yourself first. Do what's best for you. Look after number one. But Christianity has always moved in the opposite direction. Jesus said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny himself, take up his cross daily and follow me." Luke 9:23. Notice he didn't say promote yourself. He said deny yourself. That's the path of kingdom manhood. Is there a selfishness crisis? Reports coming in from every corner of society indicate that selfishness is thriving. Marriages break down because people stop serving and start demanding. Friendships collapse because people stop giving and start taking. Churches struggle because members ask, "What can this church do for me?" instead of, "How can I serve?" The problem isn't new. It's as old as Eden. The first temptation wasn't merely about fruit, it was about self. Surely God is withholding something from you. Surely you deserve more. Surely your needs matter most. The enemy has been preaching selfishness since Genesis. If we look at Mount Moriah, Abraham has waited decades for a promised son. Years of prayer, years of hope, years of disappointment. Then finally Isaac arrives. The promise has become reality. Then God asks Abraham to place Isaac on the altar. Can you imagine that? The very thing Abraham loved most, the very thing he waited longest for. God asks him to surrender it. Why? Because sacrifice reveals what sits on the throne of the heart. Abraham teaches us something profound. A man of God holds everything with open hands, even his greatest blessings. Now we are in Egypt. Joseph stands before the brothers who betrayed him, the same brothers who hated him, sold him, abandoned him. Now the tables have turned. Joseph has power. He could destroy them. He could get even. He could make them suffer. Instead, he forgives. Why? Because sacrifice isn't only giving possessions. Sometimes sacrifice means surrendering your right to revenge. That may be one of the hardest sacrifices of all. Many men carry bitterness for years. Joseph teaches us real strength isn't getting even. Real strength is letting God handle justice. We have some breaking developments from the wilderness. David has the perfect opportunity. King Saul is vulnerable. One strike, one moment, one shortcut, and David could instantly become king. His men encourage him. The opportunity is obvious. The throne is within reach. Yet David refuses. Why? Because selfish ambition always seeks shortcuts. Faithfulness waits for God's timing. David sacrificed immediate gratification for long-term obedience, and that's exactly what many men struggle with today. Let's talk about fatherhood. Some of the greatest sacrifices a man will ever make happen where nobody sees them. Working long hours, getting up when exhausted, listening when you'd rather rest, providing when nobody says thank you, praying for your family when they don't even know you're praying, showing up again and again and again. The world celebrates public achievements. Heaven notices private sacrifices. Many fathers feel invisible, but God sees every act of faithfulness. What about Jesus, who chose the cross? Now we turn to the greatest example in history, Jesus Christ. Everything in the gospel points toward one moment, the cross. No one ever sacrificed more. Philippians 2 tells us that Christ humbled himself, became a servant, became obedient unto death, Imagine that. The Creator serving creation, the King washing feet, the Lord becoming a servant, the innocent dying for the guilty. This is not merely an example. It is the very heart of Christianity. The cross declares, love sacrifices, selfishness takes, love gives. Now let's bring this into everyday life. Most men won't be asked to die on a cross, but every day presents smaller crosses. Will you listen instead of interrupting? Forgive instead of retaliating? Serve instead of demanding? Give instead of hoarding? Encourage instead of criticizing? Stay faithful when nobody is watching? Christian maturity isn't measured by how loudly you worship. It's measured by how willingly you sacrifice. Selfishness is sneaky. It doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it hides behind ambition, comfort, busyness, pride, personal preferences. Sometimes selfishness sounds spiritual. I'm protecting my peace. I'm focusing on myself. I'm doing what's best for me. Now, certainly there are healthy boundaries, but many modern men have become experts at protecting themselves and novices at serving others. The kingdom grows in the opposite direction. Jesus repeatedly asks, "How can I serve?" Men often want authority, few want responsibility. Yet biblical leadership always costs something. A husband sacrifices comfort. A father sacrifices convenience. A leader sacrifices personal preference. Leadership is not sitting at the head of the table. Leadership is carrying the burden for everyone seated around it. That is why Jesus said, "The greatest among you shall be your servant." The kingdom turns worldly leadership upside down. Here is what the world does not understand. Sacrifice feels costly in the moment, but selfishness becomes costly later. The selfish man gains temporary comfort, but often loses relationships. The sacrificial man may lose comfort temporarily, but gains something deeper: trust, respect, influence, character, spiritual maturity. The kingdom always looks beyond the immediate moment. This is the final challenge. Today, ask yourself honestly, where am I choosing comfort over obedience? Where am I putting myself first? Who needs me to serve them better? What sacrifice is God asking me to make? Because every man serves something. The question is, will you serve yourself or will you serve Christ? Newsletter offer. If this message challenged you, download our free mini course, 5-day Biblical Manhood Reset. Strengthen your relationship with God. Develop daily spiritual habits. Trust Him during difficult seasons. Walk in kingdom freedom. Join thousands of believers seeking a deeper walk with Christ. This is Christian News reminding you, the world says, take what you can. Jesus says, give what you can. The world says, live for yourself. Jesus says, lose your life and find it. The path of sacrifice may not be popular, but it is the path of Christ. Stay faithful, stay servant-hearted, and become the man God is calling you to be. Until next time, choose the cross before comfort, gentlemen.